A nurse handed me a form at my father's care facility and asked me to review the changes from my last visit. I hadn't been there in 6 months. According to her records, I'd visited 12 times. My father has Alzheimer's, advanced enough that he doesn't always know where he is, but early enough that he still knows faces. I've been his emergency contact since 2021. He lives at Brookfield Memory Care 40 minutes from my house. I visit when I can. Work, 2 kids, a life that fills itself. My brother Kevin lives 25 minutes away. He told me the last time he'd seen our father was Christmas. That was what I'd believed. The nurse pulled up the visit log. 12 entries over 2 years, all my name, all my signature. The most recent was Tuesday, 3 days earlier. I asked her to describe the visitor. She said medium build, dark hair, glasses. Kevin, not me. I asked if he'd ever identified himself. She said he'd mentioned once that he was the primary contact's brother and that he preferred his brother didn't know how often he came. My father recognized Kevin. That was the part I kept returning to. His disease had taken most names, but faces lasted longer. I knew that from my own visits. Kevin had been coming 12 times in 2 years, signing as me, sitting with a man who thought he was someone else. I asked the nurse if my father had ever asked for me during those visits. She checked her notes. He had. Twice, he'd asked when his other son was coming. Kevin and I had always been different kinds of sons. I handled logistics, the paperwork, the facility decision, the insurance. He handled very little, and I'd stopped expecting him to. He'd been difficult after our mother died in 2019, withdrawn, unreachable. When he reappeared last year, I assumed he was doing better. He'd been asking how Dad was. I'd given full updates. He'd been asking questions about a man he was already visiting twice a month. I drove to his apartment. He was home. I asked why he'd been signing my name in the visitor log for 2 years. He said the facility had approved visitors only, and he wasn't on the list. Getting added meant going through me. He said he'd been afraid I'd say no. I asked if I'd given him any reason to think that. He said I'd been controlling everything since Mom died and he didn't know how to ask. I sat down without being invited. He said I'd taken over after our mother died without asking if he wanted a role. Placed Dad, handled finances, updated everyone without including him. I asked if he'd ever said so. He said once, February 2022, my kitchen, me on my laptop. He said I told him I had it handled and kept typing. He said he'd stopped asking after that. I didn't have a response. I remembered the laptop. I didn't remember him. I called the facility that night and had Kevin added as an approved visitor under his own name. The coordinator asked if I wanted to review the forged entries. I said yes, then changed my mind. Kevin had sat with our father 12 times. He'd signed my name and asked them not to say, but he'd also gone. 40 minutes each way, twice a month, 2 years. While I'd been visiting when I could and telling myself that was enough, my wife asked which part I was most angry about. I said the name. She said, but he went. I said, I know. She said, what does that mean? I said I didn't know yet. She said my father had been asking for me during Kevin's visits. A man with Alzheimer's, sitting across from his son twice a month, still asking when the other one was coming. I lay on our bed that night until she came in. She didn't say anything, just sat on the edge. Kevin and I drove to see our father last